Hey guys, and welcome to the Leftover Culture Review and another incredibly anticipated, absolutely intoxicating episode where I develop a piece of art using nothing but a Sega Mega Drive. So I have been slowly but surely developing a whole range of artwork using nothing but a Sega Mega Drive and a copy of Sega's Art Alive. I really enjoy art and making things, so this felt like a fantastic opportunity to really test myself and pull together a whole virtual exhibition using nothing but a Mega Drive. So if you want to head over to the leftoverculturereview.com, you can check out all the pieces, how they came together, and really just have a fantastic time over there. Because here we are doing it all over again. This is another episode where I make a piece of art, which it feels like a special kind of torture. As you can see in the background here, this is the picture from the previous episode. I've done a bunch of these now, so if you want to check out some more, check them out on the channel, wherever the link is. What is really hard for me to grapple with is that outside of like recording the screen, there's no way to save these pieces. So I'm just going to have to hit reset on the console and start again, which is a little bit scary because I never love it. It's been challenging. Starting off really strong and just having a piece to like dive in with. I don't usually love what I make in this program, so like coming up with something off the cuff, I guess, that I love is super unusual, and I haven't had a whole lot of just luck. Haven't had a whole lot of luck right out of the gate, and already that pen width is too small. I like going for the biggest pen size. I've said it before, but the bigger the pen, the more confident the line feels and the less drawing you have to do. So my first tip for people wanting to draw and do art is get a bigger pen. I kind of wanted to do another fly. So we had flies in the last picture with the dead rat. And I've done an angry fly guy before, but I kind of wanted to revisit the fly and try and do a non-angry version. Just a cool looking fly. And I'm going to level with you guys. I've been drawing a lot of flies recently. So I've been slowly... actually, last night, I was working on the Leftover Culture Review website. And one idea I had was to... I wanted the website to feel more like you're visiting the games room with me. And I thought one way to do that was to incorporate a few illustrations and just make the website feel a bit more haphazard and fun. A little bit like when you're a kid and you start visiting like some of the first websites, you know, designed for kids, which were really image heavy, lots of things to click on and do. Not sure that the Leftover Culture Review website will be at that stage when you guys visit it today. But like it's an ambition. It's something to aim towards. So we have the head of a fly. Solid start. Maybe... Like I said, I've been drawing a lot of flies recently, so hopping back into drawing a fly now, at least I kind of know what I want. So I went through a period recently where I get obsessed with topics really quickly, really easily, and then I'll obsess over them for like 2 to 3 weeks, and then I'll move on to something else. But it wasn't that long ago that I was absolutely obsessed with Andy Warhol. So I bought the Lego sets, the Marilyn Monroe Lego sets, the Andy Warhol Marilyn Monroe picture. Had 4 of those, built them in all the different colors. And they have the documentary, I think it was on Netflix, all about Andy Warhol, which was fantastic because it covered so much of his life. It wasn't just about his art, and it wasn't just about the factory. It was really comprehensive in terms, like, it touched on so many things. But in that documentary, they actually had the where Andy got on stage to talk about a new computer system. I can't exactly remember which one it was, but they had like an art application, and he had to get up on stage and use the art application to design a piece of art right then and there, as part of like this keynote speech, which, like, I had this idea to do artwork using Sega's Art Alive for a long time, but seeing Andy like get up and use this computer that he's never used before to design a piece of art in such a public sort of way, that would have absolutely freaked me out. And he was talking about how stressful it was for him in his diaries. The documentary used his diaries as a way to build the narrative. So it was a really interesting documentary, but it also kind of it ties in a little bit with what I'm trying to do here by using a computer program like Art Alive to design something off the cuff, to design it quickly, without like over engineering, without doing too much in it, and just using the tools available to me in this program, which there's not like a whole lot going for you when you use a program like Art Alive. It's very basic, it's bare bones, but it is also kind of fun to think, you're using what you've got available to you, and this is kind of like it. Like these are the limitations that I'm trying to work through as I draw my disgusting flies. What I do find really hard to do in this program is anything kind of like hairy or that uses like a jagged sort of line, because you're constantly like twisting the controller pad in like a 360 motion, and it just doesn't really work for that. It doesn't work for a lot of things, but especially not trying to twist things in a 3D motion. So yeah, forgive me for doing like another fly, but I kind of I don't even like that leg. You know what? I'm not liking this. I'm just going to hit restart and do something else. Which, this is like the 5th time that I've restarted Art Alive tonight. It's really, I find this whole program really challenging. And I said this in the last episode as well. I find it really challenging to start with an idea and actually be able to like block it out, because you are doing everything on the one screen with no layers. There's no way to obviously import a picture. I guess what you could do with a program like this is potentially draw a picture on a piece of paper, put it on the screen, and try and trace underneath it. But yeah, the fly wasn't working for me. I apologize. You had to watch me dick around for a bit, but I did have this idea to try and do pen stroke to do something a little bit more abstract. So why don't I try that now? Because one thing that Art Alive does do, like I talked a little bit about pencils, and in the last episode I talked about like the biggest competitors to Art Alive would be obviously applications on a computer that actually do drawing easier, but also a simple pen and paper would be easier to draw using that than something like Sega's Art Alive. But the real benefit, I think, in digital art is being able to like draw shapes, but also play with colors, especially with things like the paint bucket tool and being able to recolor sections and just having that flexibility. Yeah, so that's like one of the core reasons why I like digital art. And I thought maybe we could do something a little bit more abstract, a little bit more fun, and really try and... Oh, God. There's always a gap. I can never just get it right the first time. Yeah, do something a little bit less structured, a little bit more fun in terms of like playing with some of the colors that we have available here in Sega's Art Alive, which, if you've been paying attention in the last episodes, you only get a small palette to work with. You get, what is that, 16 colors and 4 different like background textures. I'm not really keen on using the background textures. I don't really think they add a whole lot. Great if you've actually got like a scene in mind, I suppose, but not so great if you are just trying to draw. I don't necessarily want to add a brick pattern to everything I do. But what I thought I might, like, obviously it's abstract, but I might try and do... I've been playing a lot of Red Dead Redemption, I'm not going to lie. And I'm kind of absolutely feeling a bit more of like a desert scene. So maybe it'll be kind of abstract, but maybe it'll also be a little bit... a bit Western, a little bit more of a desert feel to it. And then, I just had an idea to add a bit of breakfast in. Yeah, okay. I'm starting to feel bacon and eggs. I don't know about you guys. This is going to be a very free-form episode because it is late at night and I'm feeling a bit tired, and I get a little bit sillier when I feel a bit tired. And most of my recording is done late at night, but it's been a particularly long week, and I thought it might be kind of fun to just roll with where I'm feeling and do a breakfast-themed Western desert piece of art. So, one thing that I absolutely love drawing is food. I do so many different pictures where I've drawn burgers. Like, burgers especially is a favorite, just because I love the texture when you draw a burger and you've got like the ingredients stacked in the middle of this bread. Yeah, I do draw a lot of burgers. But I had this idea a little while ago to do a... So on the Apple... I've got an Apple iMac, and for the screensaver, you can obviously pick some pictures that you've got saved on your hard drive, but you can make them show up in different, like, squares. So it's like a square tiled gallery look with all these different pictures. And currently at the moment, I have got colors. They're just like block colors, and then some of them are like slashed in half with a triangle of black or a circle in the middle of the block color. And when they are presented like up on the screen in that tile gallery, I think they look really cool. It's like having, when the screensaver turns on, it's a little bit like having an art piece there on your computer. And when my computer was in the living room, it actually felt like having, like a virtual picture frame going off. But one idea I had that I never actually did was, instead of having block colors, having different breakfast food items. So having like bacon and eggs and like a muffin and a cup of coffee, and just having like a whole bunch of different types of food, I guess, and having that sort of show up. But yeah, I never finished those pictures. But I will admit that that same train of thought kind of went through my head just then, where I thought maybe I could make it food. Because I'm seeing bacon and I'm seeing an egg. Ah, this controller, man. And what else is nice is that out of all the pictures that I've done in Art Alive up till now, that bloody paint bucket, what have I missed? I haven't really done food, unsurprisingly, but I think tonight's the night. So for anyone who doesn't know, I live in a city called Ipswich in Queensland, which is very close to Brisbane, which is the capital of Queensland in Australia. And I work at a place called the Queensland State Archives, which is basically a big place full of government records. Big because it's just physically a massive building. There's not that many people that work there. Actually, working there, you kind of feel insignificant because like 90% of the building is government records, and then there's like offices scattered throughout. But one reason I've been really enjoying Red Dead Redemption is just the scenery and the buildings and the landscapes. But Brisbane and like especially Ipswich was like a big coal mining town. We've got like the rail, or at least we still have the railway workshops. But it's more of a museum now. They still do maintenance on rail, on trains and stuff. But yeah, a lot of the pictures and stuff that I get to work with at work just remind me of pretty much Red Dead Redemption. Brisbane's known as like just a really big country town, not so much a city. So if Brisbane's known as a country town, Ipswich still feels like after midday on a Sunday, it's kind of dead. There's a couple of pubs and stuff open, but most of the shops shut up. And it still has like this really cool old school town feel for the most part. So I really love living in Ipswich. And playing a game like Red Dead Redemption, where you're going to like all these old historic sort of townships, dirt roads, it just, you do get like a sense of home, I guess. All right, I'm going to keep cracking on with my abstract Western breakfast, and I'll reveal it to you guys as soon as it's done. Alright dudes, I am ready to present Sunny Side Up. So it is an egg cooking in the sun. There's bacon that merges into a cloud. It is about as Western as it's gonna get, but it is very breakfasty, which I kind of like. It's funky, it's a bit different, and it's definitely like a great way to play with. I think I only use 4 or 5 colors, if you want to count white and grey and black. But there's really just like 2 blues, 2 reds, and a yellow in terms of like actual color, and then 2 greys, white and black. I guess that's 9. That sounds like a lot. But I'm really digging how it turned out, and I'm really glad that you guys could be here for it. So like I said, all these pieces are going to be available over on leftoverculturereview.com for you guys to check out. See how they came together, check out the rest of the collection, and again, yeah, thank you so much for tuning in and being here to see this all come together. Like, it means a lot to me, and it's really fun to be able to like hop on Sega's very own Art Alive. I just give it a bit of a whirl. I'm really digging how it turned out. I hope you do too. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you back for more leftover culture. Cheers, guys. Well, it is time for the grand reveal. Well, it's time for the grand reveal. This is Sunny Side Up. It is an egg baking in that hot western sun. The bacon is streaming into the clouds, and I'm kind of digging how it turned out, considering I tried to use just a couple of colors. Like there's the 2 reds, or pink and red, 2 types of blue and a yellow, and then in terms of like contrasts, there's black, white, and 2 different gray. I guess that's 9 colors. It sounds like a lot, but it's obviously a really simple picture, but it makes me hungry looking at it. So it's definitely got impact. I just want to thank you guys so much for tuning into this weird series idea that I had where I make art on Sega's Art Alive. I don't want to say I've enjoyed checking out so much of Sega's Art Alive, because it's frustrating, because it's not always very easy to use, but being stripped back and only having like a couple of different tools to use has been kind of fun. I've just enjoyed being able to like dive in and play with the bits that I have to work with. So yeah, again, thank you so much for tuning in. Check out the leftoverculturereview.com to see all the pieces of art, see how they're made, and see a bunch of other stuff from the Leftover Culture Review. Thank you so much for tuning in. Cheers, guys, and stay tuned for more leftover culture right here.